I'm Justin Davis, and this is Drone Camps RC. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Justin Davis, and check out what we have here today. This is the Furibee Q95, also known as the dinosaur. Look at that, it has teeth on the side of it like a T-Rex, facing backwards. But is this a Lizard 95 competitor? Very interesting. It looks very similar to that frame. Also supporting some teeth on the back side back here, looking very aggressive. But it does have a cool feature that this top plate up here does protect this antenna quite well. You've got that all-in-one 600 TVL camera in here, and it is switchable on the channels just up inside here right there. And I also already have mounted an Frsky XM Plus receiver, and they have the antennas already heat shrinked with zip ties coming off the back. So that makes it super easy just to bind up, set up in beta flight, and get out and go fly. So this would be a good one for guys that are maybe, if you want to have your first brushless micro, this would be a good place to start because you do have a 3mm bottom plate. And like I said before, these are kind of important right here. If you do hit, you've got a little bit of a motor guard here, and you have something to give it a little bit of shock resistance against breaking this bottom plate, this arm right here. Now you do have a unibody under here, and it's also using a 20x20 mounting hole setup on here. So it looks like we could put a different flight controller on here. If you lost this one or you burn up an ESC, you could probably buy something else and replace that, which makes this really, really nice. It's not a super proprietary setup. But by the way, if you do remove these little standoffs here, if you're using these screws again, you might run them up into the motors and damage the motors. So if you take this off, make sure to use shorter screws, and make sure that you don't ruin your motors doing that. And it does look like a decent amount of camera protection up here with these aluminum, sort of anodized aluminum, purple standoffs we have going in front of the camera. So plenty of camera protection on the sides and from the front here. Now these motors are soldered onto this bottom 4-in-1 ESC down here. So they're not the plug-and-play ones like the awesome F3 flight controller. So if you burn out one of these motors, keep in mind you're going to have to go back and solder on a new one there. If you burn out an ESC, like I said before, it's kind of cool because you can just take this one right off and put a new one on there. They should have parts and frame parts available for this one in probably maybe a couple weeks time. Now this one does have similar props to other micros that we've flown. These 2035s tend to be some of my favorites for brushless micro, and you have 1104 6000 kV motors on here. So 2S, this is going to be a nice smooth flyer. And what's really nice about this frame so far is the fact that it doesn't have any problems with clearance. It's very, very close to the frame for the props coming by the frame in the front here, but they don't actually strike. Some of the older quads I had, you know, a few months ago, I've had quads that came in that actually have the props right out of the box hit the side of the frame, which is kind of crazy for a plug-and-play quad. But I'm expecting that this camera is going to be pretty nice at 700 TVL, and the flight controller is an F3 on here, so I'm also expecting that that's going to perform pretty well. So I'm looking for a good flight characteristic out of this little Q95. And last but not least, on this guy, you do have a buzzer and rear-facing LEDs, which is great because the awesome one that I just reviewed, the little mini Ubi, didn't have a buzzer on it, and that's kind of a bummer when I was out in the playground and under a lot of dark undergrowth and in the trees. You want to be careful there. You will definitely lose one of these quads. It's kind of hard to find them when they flip over and they're face down like this and they're black. So it's nice to have a beeper on this one. Now this one did come with a receiver and 2 sets of props in the box, but it didn't come with a battery. So if you order this one, make sure that you get some type of 2S 500 milliamp battery. I prefer, right now, I like those full speed 2S 30C batteries that are available on GearBest. They're pretty cheap, and they actually run 3 to 4 minutes time, really with my style flying, and I'm just maxing out these motors most of the time. So pick up a couple of these if you decide to put this one in your cart. But let's go outside and let's do a little line of sight flight test with this one first, and then we'll do some FPV with this little Q95. Alright guys, we're going to do a quick line of sight flight test with the Q95. Let's go ahead and get it going. Here we go. We're in acro mode, so I'm going to go ahead and take off. And I'm flying on 2S. Just check out the punch out real quick. I'll try not to fly into the trees. not too bad. I've got a lot of trees around here to play with some FPV, so it's gonna be pretty fun. Go through some of these gaps. I'm not too worried about these props because, as you guys know, the 2035s are pretty tough, pretty durable. Kind of bend them and bend them back. Check out the flip rate I have set up. I have it set up on 7.5. Seems pretty good. Touch the ground there for a second. See those LEDs on the back pretty good. It looks pretty cool in the air. It does look a lot like the Lizard 95, so yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't call it a Lizard 95 killer or anything, but it certainly does look like it. So I'm going to go ahead and set it down and finish up the rest of this battery inside my goggles. Here we go. Alright guys, funky track music is playing, and now I can do a little bit of freestyle out here in front of myself. I have tons of trees out here and a lot of low-lying trees to fly under, some branches up top, and the coolest thing about this quad is the fact that this is the first time I've flown it. So the footage that you're seeing here is the first time I've had myself on the sticks with this quad, and it's this predictable. So I gotta say, this one's another winner from Furibee. I would trust this one. The frame is light enough, and if you're gonna be flying this on 2S, as you can see here, you're gonna have plenty of fun with this quad. It has plenty of protection on the frame. As long as you don't really slam dunk it into the concrete, just like any quad, it's probably gonna be pretty durable, especially over grass like you have here. And I did crash quite a few times out here trying to show off a little bit for you guys through the trees. I didn't have any direct tree collisions. I did take out some leaves here and there. I think I killed a few leaves. A couple flips through those gaps. Those are nice big wide open gaps up there. But I love this flight controller because it's another predictable flight controller with a great default PID tune on it from the factory. So it seems like people spent time with this one when they manufactured it. Look at that. I just whipped out of that. Did a little slow-mo there, out of that one direction and then another. I saw a tree, so I saw a limb, so I went back the other way. Split-second decision. So that ended good. But if they do this kind of PID tuning, you know, when they produce a quad, and there I found a leaf. But if they do this PID tuning before it hits the United States and before they ship it out, customers have a better time with it because we're not stuck with PID tuning a brand new quad. But it's predictable, it's slow enough or fast enough. So I think, you know, with this type of frame, you're looking at 95 millimeter, it's not going to be super fast, and it's not going to be a freestyle 5-inch monster, but proximity flying for freestyle around trees and just ripping around and having fun, I'm going plenty fast through some of this. Kind of wishing there was a little more speed, but that's just me. I just really like to do some hard snaps and then really punch the throttle. But this one gave me plenty of fun. So anyway guys, thanks again for watching this little flight session. I enjoyed this quad. I'm Justin Davis. I'll see you on the next one, guys. Bye-bye.